welcome to the second installment of Kings of Opinion, where we talk about a little bit of everything across the boards of sports, movies, and anything we want to talk about. Anything you guys want to talk about when you ask us questions on the internet or any social media platforms. Once again, it's Pugs and the Wanderer, both Ryans.
Welcome back. Hope you enjoy.
Second week, we're going strong, bud. Here we go. I'm going to jump right into baseball because baseball's right around the corner. We're going to go with, Thursday is opening day. It's a great time of year for me. I'm a huge baseball fan. So I couldn't be more excited, even though I'm not particularly happy with my home team, the Yankees, not making as many moves as I thought they should have this year. How does baseball stack up out of your sports that you like to watch?
Opening day, that's definitely a big day of the year for me. Definitely top, at least, towards the top in terms of, sporting events. Big Mets fan, so always look forward to that, even though, it doesn't always work out. And, I know enough Yankee fans such as yourself that have, enjoyed, you take it, pretty intensely, and serious, I guess.
Yeah, well, when you are the best team in all of history as far as championships, we don't have to get into the numbers and the statistics of it. It just brings a different type of atmosphere and hatred to your team and to this great state of New York. And when you go to the Bronx and you go in there and you see all the different things that they have, Monument Park, the museum, it's great for everybody, kids, adults alike. I don't have a complaint with Yankee Stadium. So the Yankees this year, they brought back Aaron Judge on a big time contract. They brought back a lot of the guys that they should have this year that made them successful last year. It's just me personally as a Yankee fan, I needed them to do more. I know they signed Rodon, but he's already hurt and we didn't even get out of spring training. That kind of brings me to what I started to want to talk about is key injuries for, I guess, our market teams, the Mets and the Yankees. So I guess I'll start off with the Rondon thing. Like, he's feeling better from what they're telling us. The Yankees are never really forward with telling us how good they are or how quick they're going to come back. They always give us very vague answers. So, I hate them with that because I want to know when my guys are coming back. Like, we want to win a championship every year. And I know with the Mets...
Kind of expected.
Yeah, but the Mets, they kind of shared in that last year. They made it to the playoffs. They had 101 wins. They got their, Uncle Stevie is,
Opening the checkbook.
Yeah, opening the checkbook, manning the ship. He's like the captain of the ship. And he will not be outdone by any team in baseball. So I feel like you guys are expecting at the very least to make the playoffs again this year. So expectations are high for both ball clubs this year. So it should be exciting in at least the tri-state area, if not all of baseball, because it's just good to have good competition,
right.
But I don't know. Doesn't just sit good with me this year, the Yankees. So, 4/5 of our starting rotation have been hurt in spring training. We did get Nasty Nestor back, so he'll be ready to go by the start of the season, which is good. But you got guys all over the place on the shelf. News is that your boy Brandon Nimmo, who just signed an 8-year contract for $162 million, will be ready to go by Thursday. So, that I would assume that's a good thing. He's a catalyst on your team. Your team is pretty stacked with all stars, and hopefully they can get it going.
So, did you want to say any more on Mets or Yankees there?
We could. I have plenty of stuff to talk about. Why? What do you got? We could always jump back and forth.
No, go for it.
No. What do we got? Let's go. We have an hour or however much time we got. So you could just talk about whatever you want. We could always jump back and forth. It's not a big deal. What do you got?
No, I wasn't sure if you wanted to move on to the rest of the games, but if you...
Well, we can. We could always jump back.
If you have more on the injuries.
No, not really more on injuries. I want to talk about the rookies that are coming up, But we can talk about that later. What do you got for the opening day slate?
Let's see. First game up is Giants at Yankees. What do you think?
Oh, I mean, you know what I'm going to say.
So.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Yankees all the way. San Fran was one of the teams that was fighting hard to get Aaron Judge on their team last year. They fought for a few different guys, and they were unsuccessful in all of them. So it'd be nice if they came in here and, you know, we took it to them and we won the opening day game. I have all the faith in the world that they'll win that first game. But you never know. Baseball is a tricky sport to predict and to bet on because it's all about the starting pitcher, usually. And even though we have a good one, Garrett Cole, he's normally a little cold in April, and he ramps up as the weather gets warmer. So, you know, I guess we'll have to wait and see. Thursday's a big day. They start at what, 1 o'clock on Thursday? There's a lot of early games.
105 Eastern.
Yeah, there's a lot of early games.
Okay, next game up is. I'm sorry. Did you have any more on
No,
Yanks?
go ahead.
Next game up is Braves Nationals, also at 105.
Well, since this is your kind of division, I feel like you should give me your take on it first, and then we'll go from
I
there.
guess I'll pick the Braves just off of roster alone. You know, they made a lot of noise last year. They took out the Dodgers, I believe, in what was that, first or the second round.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just, that lineup is stacked, and I think they'll probably only continue to gel. So what about yourself?
I also think the Braves, the Nationals aren't going to go anywhere this year. They're in a rebuilding stage, so for the most part, anyone that it's almost like a gimme game. Like if you wanted to bet on a game, I would say you could bet on that. That's one of the games you could bet on that the Braves should handle business. Plus, they've been pretty solid in the spring. They have a decent record. I think I saw it was like 15-10, and that's playing with all your minor leaguers and, you know, getting to know your roster as a whole. So I agree with your statement. The Braves should win that game easily.
Okay, next game up is Orioles at Red Sox, 2:10 Eastern Time at Fenway Park. I'm sorry, I should be telling you guys where these games are at. The Yankees are at Yankee Stadium, and the Braves Nationals are at Nationals Park.
So this game I like a lot. The Baltimore Orioles versus the Red Sox. Me and a few friends. I've been high on the Orioles this year because of how surprising they were last year, especially in the second half of the season. They were rolling.
Under the radar,
Yeah, under the radar last year. This year though, they're not going to be so much under the radar.
Never more, some might say.
a little Edgar Allan Poe.
Little regional.
Yeah, little nice little statement right there. But I'm picking Baltimore this year as my dark horse to make it to the playoffs. They didn't do too much in the offseason, but they might have done just enough to just keep their team together and give it. If they have a good, solid year, they're going to be in contention all year for a playoff spot. The Red Sox, they're hit and miss. I hate the Red Sox, so I don't ever want to say anything good about the Red Sox. They've been a thorn in my side for most of my life with when they were playing the Yankees, and there are certain games I'll never forget against the Red Sox in my lifetime. Some good memories, some bad memories. But yeah, I just wish them nothing but the worst this season. I hope they lose. You can't say all the games because that's literally impossible. But I picked them to be dead last in the AL East this year. So that's about it for that.
Okay, well, also shout out to all our listeners in Boston. We still love you, and yeah, it's just he's a Yankees fan, so I'm sure you can see why that is.
Yeah, he's not wrong about that.
Anyway, moving on.
There's nothing wrong with the people of Boston. It's just the Boston Red Sox. Let's just get that clear.
So, moving on. Milwaukee Brewers at Chicago Cubs, 2:20 Eastern Time at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Who you got, Ryan?
I'm going to say the Brewers. The Brewers have been pretty steady the last couple of years. They had a little bit of a setback last year, but I still think they're better than the Cubs. The Cubs are also rebuilding. They still need a little bit more time. So for that day, I'm going to pick the Brewers on the road.
Alrighty. Moving on. Detroit Tigers at Tampa Bay Rays, 3:10 Eastern Time.
So, to just get this moving along, I'd like to say the Tigers have enough to beat the Rays. The Rays are one of those pesky teams that are always hanging around. So they're gonna also be at home. I see the Rays winning that game. It's not a hard one.
Okay. Then we have Minnesota Twins at Kansas City Royals, also at 3:10.
Kansas City and Minnesota. Okay. That's a tough one because they're both evenly matched. But I'll go with Minnesota. The road team gets the win here.
Okay.
They have a little bit more pop.
Okay. Phillies at Rangers, 4:05.
Well, the Phillies were the National League's, champions last year, going up against Houston in a good World Series match. So, with Texas, they made some moves. They got DeGrom last year. So, I mean, he's already hurt. I don't know what his timetable is. But I'm going to have to go with the Phillies.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, the Phillies, they made a lot of noise last year too, I guess.
Yeah.
Especially, with the Mets, as much as presses the Mets got, didn't really matter at the end, I guess. Well, I'm starting to sound like a bitter Mets fan, which brings us to the next game: New York Mets at Miami Marlins. I'm going to take the Mets, even though it's probably guarantees a loss. But I'm feeling, hey, new year. Let's get it popping. Hope it's got to start better than the World Baseball Classic. So, on that note, how do you feel about this game?
Well, the Marlins always play the Mets tight. They're always a little pesky thorn in their side. So, it's hard to just easily say that the Mets are going to just win that game, especially when they're on the road in Florida. But I think Buck will have them ready to go. I could see them winning the first game. They may not win that first series, though. They might lose 2 out of 3 out of that series. But I could see them winning that first game, the opening day.
Okay, moving on. Pirates at Reds, and that's at 4:10.
Let's just say Reds. They're both pretty crappy teams right now. They're both rebuilding. I actually hope the Pirates stink so much that they want to trade some of their players to the Yankees mid-season, if not beforehand, because we tried to get their guy Reynolds to play left field for us, but we couldn't come up with a trade that was acceptable for both parties. So
Yeah, they always have some good guys like that, Pittsburgh, but they usually go somewhere else relatively quickly.
yeah, they usually just can't afford them. So once they get the star power, they have to do what they got to do and trade them for some value
Right.
before they just lose them to free agency.
Yeah, it's gotta be tough being a fan of teams like that where it's like they're just not willing to spend no matter what.
Well, we're lucky we live in New York, where at least our teams spend some money. You know what I
Definitely
mean?
grateful.
Yeah, definitely grateful for that. Big money,
Yeah.
big money markup.
Okay, next game. We have Blue Jays at Cardinals. It's a pretty good game.
Yeah.
4:10 p.m. 4:10 Eastern time. I don't know where I was going there. Sorry about that.
What do you think?
I am gonna go with Cardinals. Blue Jays seem like always to be like a sexy team, but I don't know. I feel like the Cardinals are gonna get this one done, and they seem to have something going with less. I guess it's good management, perhaps could be a part of it. Maybe what's your take on the game?
Cardinals are always one of those historic teams, one of those teams that have been around for forever. They always play well, they're always in the mix. Like you said, the Blue Jays are a sexy team every year, but every year they fall short. I'm hoping they fall short again this year because you don't want to face them usually in the playoffs in a short series. They got a lot of star power on that team. They're always lack bullpen and starting pitching, which they addressed it this season. It just seems like either injuries get in the way or just people not living up to the hype, but either which way, they just don't ever make it happen. So I agree with your assessment. I like the Cardinals too, plus it helps us out in the AL East. So book it. Let's do it.
Also, shout out to Joe Carter on that one as well. I kind of think that's the direction where Ryan was going in terms of not meeting them in the playoffs.
Right.
Next game, Colorado Rockies at Padres, 5:10.
It's going to be San Diego. They are stacked. You saw what they did in the playoffs. They just didn't make it all the way, but they're a stacked team. The Rockies are another team that's always seems to be rebuilding. So let's go with the Padres.
Alrighty, moving on to 7:08. p.m. Eastern time. We have White Sox at Astros.
Pains me to say it's probably going to be the goddamn Astros. They've been a thorn in the Yankees' side for the last couple of years too, so I would like them to lose a lot this year. Like we said in last week's episode, they'll be without Jose Altuve for some time, so we'll see how they work that out. You never know, with their minor league system, they could have a second baseman up here and he plays just as well. So I guess I'll just say Houston for right now.
Right on. Okay, then we have the Angels at A's, the Battle of California, I guess. That's at 10:07. And what's your feeling on that one?
Well, before I give you my feeling, are you even going to be awake to watch that game? Because I know I won't be.
It's possible. You never know.
I'll tell you this. It doesn't really matter to me which team wins. You got Trout and Ohtani on the Angels, so let's just give it to the Angels for right now until they prove us wrong.
Right. Shout outs to Japan. They just won the
World Baseball Classic. Yeah.
Hey, listen. They got it done. Revenge game, possibly. Anyway, moving on. We have the Guardians at the Seattle Mariners, and that's at 10:10. Who do you like there, and why?
The Seattle Mariners. They were a hot team last year. Made the playoffs. They had a long drought, not making the playoffs for a while. So I'm just gonna go with the Mariners.
Okay, and then lastly, to end the opening day events, we have Diamondbacks at Dodgers, 10:10.
Dodgers. The Dodgers are good every year. I can't see them not starting off the season on a high note and winning the first game. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay.
If you were a gambling man, though, and you had to pick 3 teams to parlay with, who would you pick to start off opening day? What 3 games would you try to pick for our people listening out there and watching?
Off top, I mean, I'm not a gambling man, but let's just have a little fun.
3 of your let's say locks of the week.
I would
You know?
I'm gonna go chalk. I'm gonna go 4 teams: Braves, Yankees. I mean, this might be for even money with the amount of favorites. Let's go Sox, just because.
Red Sox or White
They're
Sox?
At home. They're at home.
Red Sox?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the first 3 games off the board. So do with that what you will. And for the 4th game, we are going to go with. What was that game that you liked again? Let's go with Seattle.
There you go. I like it.
We're going to Pacific Northwest, baby.
I like it.
All right.
I'm
there
going
you
to go a little differently.
Here's Rye's take.
Little differently.
For the weekly wager segment.
I'm going to go also with the Yankees. I like your Braves, but I'm going to keep it out because you gave them on your pick. I'm going to take the Baltimore Orioles as an upset.
He's going on the other side of that game.
Yeah,
on which side is it? We got a winner. I'm just not sure where.
Yep, we don't, but we'll find out, I guess, on Thursday. They're just my dark horse, so I'm gonna pick them for opening day stunner against the Red Sox. Then we'll go the Dodgers on the late game,
Okay.
and then I think let's take Philly against Texas. I like that game.
Okay. So
And
you got
that-
Philly there.
Yeah,
Okay.
I like it.
So that's what is that? What's your wager type there?
Nothing too crazy. Whatever, maybe $100 on that parlay, 4 teams.
4-teamer. Okay.
Yeah.
As the same as I did. Okay. So
Yeah.
there's we were feeling the parlays. We're
Yep.
feeling connected. About 4 games connected.
Yep.
So that's that. And I think you were going to jump into NFL. I think, right?
Yeah, we'll go with the NFL. So, important news, I guess, of this week for the Jets was Elijah Moore got traded away to the Cleveland Indians. Oh, not the Indians, the Browns. And you can't even say Indians anymore because they're Guardians. But the Cleveland Browns whisked him away from the Jets for a 2nd-round pick, which is the 42nd pick, and I believe a 4th-round pick, which is the 74th. basically that says to me that they're trying to get picks together to package that to finally get Aaron Rodgers here, even though they're probably not even close yet. From what I've been reading and hearing, Green Bay still wants 2 first-round picks, and the Jets don't even want to give them a first-round pick. So I think they're loading up on second-round picks to try and give them as many second-round picks as they can to get Aaron Rodgers to New York. So hopefully this will be a done deal in the near future. How far, I don't know, but I guess we'll see, Ryan. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're a Jets fan, you gotta be excited. Like, you finally have a quarterback. Um, there's some other factors in there, but I think there's a lot of things you have to like on paper to that could translate to them having a great year. So, I think it should be exciting, and I think both football teams in New York are up. So I think that's just good in general. Even though I'm a Dallas fan, I can be, I can clearly see Dak Jones's talent. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Speaking of Dallas, what is your team doing? They're borderline a mess right
It's
now.
Jerry's world. We're just living in it. Pretty
Yeah,
much.
but they got to do something here. Like I heard, I think they already cut Zeke, or they will cut Zeke by June 1st or something like that.
Right.
So I know he has some interest on a couple teams that he'd like to go to. One of them, which would be the Jets.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know why or for what reason. Maybe he just wants to jump on the bandwagon, kind of almost like what Leonard Fournette did when he left the Jaguars and went to Tampa.
Right.
And
Similar move.
yeah, similar move, and he rejuvenated his career a little bit. Won a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, so maybe he's thinking somewhere along those lines. I mean, his other teams of choice kind of speaks to that too. Like he only wants to go to the Eagles, Jets, or Bengals. So if you read that, the Eagles, went to the Super Bowl. The Bengals were in the Super Bowl the year before, and the Jets are the one, I guess, if you want to call them a dark horse team right now, to make the playoffs or whatever. But they're expecting big things out of their team this year. They're signing a lot of guys.
Definitely.
So
High expectations.
yeah, very high expectations, especially if they eventually do trade for Aaron Rodgers. The expectations will go through the roof, and not that they'll be almost instantly in the Super Bowl, because that just isn't a thing unless you're really Tom Brady. But they'll easily make the playoffs. So I don't know. We'll see. Right now we're watching in silence the NCAA bracket. What was it? San Diego versus Creighton, right? It's at the very end of the game, and they're trying to, I guess, throw up a Hail Mary, if you will. But yeah, that's it. The game's over. No.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh, so San Diego actually wins.
San Diego moves on.
If
San Diego State.
Yeah, San Diego State. So if anyone has them in their brackets,
the Aztecs have them.
anyone has them in their brackets, good
Shout
for
out
you.
to Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah. So what do we got coming up next for NCAA? There's one more game on today, I think.
Let's see. I think we had a slate of them somewhere.
Yeah. So the next game is Miami versus Texas. That's coming up next.
I think we had more.
Yeah, this is the first year in a while that there's no number 1 seeds in the Elite Eight.
Yes.
So-
So that was the first game. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yeah. And then we have the game you just mentioned. Who do you like in that game? Or do you have a pick? Sorry.
I really don't have a pick, but let's just go with Texas. Do we know who's the higher seed?
Yeah. They're a 2 seed. It looks like Miami's a 5. Sorry.
There you go.
It's a bit small.
Texas it is. I like it.
Okay, and then we have, obviously Florida Atlantic. You heard they beat Kansas State. Definitely an upset there. Good for those kids, making some noise. Then we also had UConn taking down Gonzaga, pretty handedly. One-sided victory. And then the games coming up on Saturday will be, I guess now, San Diego State versus Florida Atlantic. and UConn versus to be determined.
Yeah, because I guess the Texas or Miami, whoever wins that will be in that game.
You betcha.
There you go.
All right. Did you have any more on the NFL?
No, not so much right now. I mean, the Jets did sign McCole Hardman to a deal.
Oh, the ex Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, the Super Bowl champ. So he'll be in here, which kind of made Elijah Moore, I guess, a little bit more expendable. So that's which is why they traded him. However, it's sad to see him go. I thought he was a really good rookie for us. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, did you have any? What was the next sport you had on your mind?
Don't really have any more sports on my mind. I did just want to touch base about one thing, jumping back to baseball. There's been a lot of controversy, or not really controversy, just you know how spring training gets going, you have a lot of the rookies up, and they play for positions, and they try to show themselves and try to get a spot on the 40-man roster. So with my Yankees, there's been a huge debate on who's going to start at shortstop this year. And originally, before spring training, they had Peraza tagged as the guy that's going to play short. But the kid Volpe has been playing so well in spring training games that it's almost undeniably that he has to start at shortstop. Or at least he has to play somewhere in that infield, which would either be second or short. So everyone's calling for it.
Folks.
Yeah, everyone's calling for it. I'm telling you right now, Volpe should be playing shortstop or somewhere on that field on opening day. That's the one thing I'm going to take away from watching baseball on Thursday is watching that Yankee game and seeing if he's playing shortstop or if he's sitting on the bench or if he's in the minor leagues, because he seems like he's got it all. He seems like he's unfazed. This is his first minor league camp for the most part, where he played the whole minor league camp, and he's been doing great. He's stealing bases, he's hitting for power, he's hitting for average. His on base percentage is well over 400. How could you keep someone like that off the roster
Right.
and not start him?
He's a peacock. You gotta let him fly. I totally get it.
Nice little movie reference from the other guys. I love it.
Okay. Well, speaking of movies, we're gonna get to that later. But just right now, I was just gonna throw in a little something new. This will be currently spinning. Just a couple of musical choices from myself. We have 3 this week. The first one is Notorious Dumb Legends Volume 2, Mach Hami. The second one is Surf or Drown by Hit Boy. And the third one is, this just came out Friday, Scaring the Hose, JPEG Mafia, and Danny Brown. And on that note, we're going to take a break, but we're going to come back and hit you with some more Media Madness. Thank you.
Media Madness coming up next. All right, welcome to part 2 of Kings of Opinion. We're going to start you off real quick with a quick plug from our friend Amish Doshi, lawyer of all things and everything. Anything from bankruptcy to real estate, anything you would need, you could call him for at www.amishdoshi@gmail.com. Also at his legal services as well, www.doshilegal@gmail.com. With that being said, we're back, and we're going to start off with talking about TV shows to watch tonight and streaming, I guess, coming up in April. So I'm going to let it off to Wander to start us off.
Yeah, so first we're going to start with our recommendations for tonight. We've got the premiere of Succession. I haven't seen it, but I know a lot of people are big fans of the show. Shout outs to my friend Dan Sayre. He's a huge fan of Succession, and I've only heard great things, and I mean, hell of a cast as well. Next up, I've got Yellow Jackets. I really enjoyed the first season of this show. I think, again, great cast, quality, show.
What's it about? Is it about bees?
No, it's about these. Have you seen it? You've seen it.
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh.
I haven't seen it yet.
Well, it's about these high school soccer team, I believe, and they get like stranded a la Lord of the Flies, and it's progresses from there. So yeah, I think it's the first season definitely had my interest, and I'm looking forward to see where it goes. And then as far as streaming is concerned, I'm gonna recommend Swarm. Shout out to my friend Avi. He started it and he said that he was enjoying it. I'm a fan of anything that Donald Glover is involved in, so yeah, that's my take on that.
Sounds like another B show. What's with all these B shows all of a sudden? Is that popular?
Seems to be a common theme. That wasn't even on purpose. But
Oh.
hey, listen.
All right.
Sometimes the connection is.
Do we know what Swarm's about right now, so that you can clue in our
I
audience?
actually don't. Sorry, no homework there. I wasn't a great student. So
That's all right. We'll get there. We'll get there.
But yeah, what do you think is good to check out this evening?
Well, Ted Lasso just came back like 2 weeks ago. They have 2 episodes in the books already.
You gotta believe, right?
Yep, love Ted Lasso. It's one of those shows that's just very uplifting. I guess a quick synopsis of it is, a football coach from the States goes out to England to be a soccer coach and knows nothing about soccer. It's the 3rd and final season.
It's the last one. I didn't
That's
know
it. It's the last one. Great cast.
Wow.
They all mix well together. It's funny. It's got a little drama in it. It's heartwarming. Definitely a must see on Apple TV. Did a great job with that, and Ted Lasso is a must watch in my opinion. It's one of the rare shows that gives you a little bit of everything nowadays.
Great show. Yeah, I agree. I've enjoyed it from the first episode. It just seems to have just a flow to it. Just great chemistry.
Agreed. It's funny. It's very funny. The way that guy puts a positive spin on literally everything. I think everyone can learn a little something from Ted Lasso, even though he's a fictional character. But
Right. Yeah, I think there's a lot of value in that for sure. I mean, I would say both of us subscribe to similar, code.
Yeah, agreed. Another show I think that comes out tonight on Prime is Rabbit Hole. It stars Kiefer Sutherland.
It premieres tonight?
Yeah, tonight. I think it's 9 o'clock. Not 100% sure, but it's definitely on Prime. He is it's almost something similar to like some kind of espionage show. He's probably best known for recently as the Jack Bauer character in 24, which is a fantastic show. I think I spoke about that last week.
I think you did, yeah.
So it's more the same as something like that, just probably with different spins and everything like that. I can't imagine it being a bad show. He's really good in acting out these kind of like drama, suspenseful roles. So I think it's going to be a good show to watch. We'll find out tonight. We'll start watching it tonight and see what happens.
Right on.
What else we got? We got something on HBO Max, don't we? Our boy Barry, right?
Oh yes, Barry is also back. Not tonight, but I think in a couple weeks. We're both hyped for that. Great show. Again, shout out to my boy Dan for putting me onto that one. Yeah, just an interesting, new, show that's never really been done before. And yeah, and I think what is it, like a half hour too?
Yeah.
Pack that much substance into such a small, frame of time is impressive in itself. So definitely, I'm not sure if this is this the last season? I'm not sure, but
I thought it was
it's got to be close.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the season before was the last one, but I was wrong, and it's coming out this quickly. I just recently binge watched all of Barry a couple weeks ago.
Oh, so it's fresh for you.
Yeah, I loved it. So for it to be back in like a couple
Yeah.
weeks for me, and now I could watch it. And if it is the last season, great.
Love it when a plan comes together.
Yeah, if not, so be it. Like, it's a little bit of like dark comedy.
Definitely dark.
I don't know. It's a good show. That Bill Hader's a great actor for this show. Him being an assassin and a former military guy, and he gets caught up in all these different like problems that he has throughout the show. It's just a good watch. Like you said, it's a quick watch. You can sit there while you're having dinner, watch an episode, be done with it, and then move on to the next show, like some of the ones we already talked about last week, or even some of the ones we talked about this week. I'm gonna have to watch some of these B shows like Yellow Jacket and Swarm to see what's going on in these shows, so that we can talk about them more. Hopefully, we can both watch these shows, so we can just bounce back and forth what we liked and didn't like about these shows to give you guys some more of an opinion, so that you could watch what you want to watch and not be bored, depending on, you know, who refers these shows to you or not.
Right on. Sounds sweeter than honey.
I like that. Good job. Very good job. The next thing we want to talk about is movies. There's not a lot coming out right now.
That we like or that we know about, I guess.
Right. I can't wait to see John Wick. I heard it had a great weekend opener. Made a ton of money, the most out of its franchise so far. I'm a little bummed out I didn't get to see it this weekend, but plans fell through on my end, and now I'm probably going to have to wait to watch it sometime this week or the next weekend. But Keanu Reeves is probably great in it. All the characters are great. Do you know the guy from The Wire that's in the movie?
Which one? Lance Reddick?
Yeah, Lance Reddick. He passed away like a couple weeks ago. Rest in peace. I loved him in almost
actor.
everything he's done. So to watch this movie with him in it,
It's heavy,
yeah, it's a little heartbreaking, but I'm sure he does a great job. The whole cast is great. I'm sure the storyline's gonna be
I
good.
mean, just off top, like The Wire, Lost.
Mhm.
Anything else that you can think of for him?
Not off the top of my head, but he's been in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, just a great actor in anything that he was in.
I loved him in The Wire, to be honest with you. He was like a hard-nosed lieutenant that...
My favorite show.
Yeah, one of mine too. He was hard-nosed. He was tough but fair. He's one of those guys that you'd like to work for.
Straight
Like,
shooter.
if you did your job, you had no problem
You'd
with
be alright.
with him. If you didn't do your job, it'd be a problem. But it seems like he always takes
Man
that
has
kind of
that
spin.
code,
Yeah, he takes that spin in everything. Even in John Wick, he was the guy at the front of the Continental.
Right.
He was the head concierge service or whatever. Always fair. Always did the right thing. Always looked out for everybody. Great actor. I love him as an actor. So it's gonna be a little bittersweet watching him
Right on.
on this movie and knowing that he sadly passed away. But once again, our best wishes to his family and everyone that knew him. Sure, he was a phenomenal guy. He was a fantastic actor. And that's pretty much it. Like
Well said.
we could talk about, Shazam not making the cut after week 2. It had its lowest out of the 2 movies last week. It finished in first last week, but it didn't make much money this week. So you could see that movie starting to slowly die
Maybe
out
it's
of the
time for me to
theaters.
go see it before it's too late.
Maybe go see it on a matinee for like $6-7.
Perfect.
Call it a day.
Sounds like a plan.
I didn't mind the movie. It wasn't terrible. Once again, I just think they could have did more with it,
Right.
But
Right. Well, I think sometimes when you with like the first one where it just works when it's has no expectations, it's hard to top that. Just to grab to just pull that out of I guess the ether again. It's not easy to do.
yeah, no, it's not.
That's why I kind of get mad sometimes when they do a remake after like 10 years or like after a long time.
Right, like they did with Anchorman, right? When they did Anchorman like 10 or 15 years later.
It just doesn't always work.
No, I mean, I can only remember it working one time, and that's with Top Gun Maverick.
I have to see that still.
I
I
don't.
knew he was going to get mad
Uh,
about that, but
Can't
I'm
even
looking forward
believe-
to it. I just don't have Paramount Plus.
I can't even
And
believe
if
you said it on the
anyone-
air.
If anyone wants to send me their login, shout me a holler.
Please, someone send him a login because I can't believe it's been probably almost a year and he hasn't seen this epic movie. It probably should have won Best Movie, but it didn't. We're not gonna talk about
Or
why,
just,
but
just
whatever.
buy me the Blu-ray. Do they still make DVDs? Are those still a thing?
Yeah, I mean
Shout
slightly.
out to physical media while it's still here in Earth Realm. Yeah.
I can't believe you haven't seen Top Gun Maverick. It's blowing my mind right now.
The other movie that this I guess is the first movie that I'm mentioning, but Creed. I definitely want to check that out. I haven't really looked at too much else that's playing. I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing, but as for right now. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. You have any other movies?
I do, but I'm not even gonna get to that yet until we talk about Creed.
Okay.
I couldn't wait long enough to watch Creed 3.
Wow.
I mean, after
Strong
well,
feelings.
first off, there's
No
no
hard
Rocky
feelings.
Balboa in it.
In the words of Billy Woods.
Right. There's no Rocky Balboa in it, so that upsets me. And I get there's a whole behind the scenes with the director and Sylvester Stallone and all that stuff. Whatever. That aside, after I watched Creed 2 and they had the whole workout scene in the middle of the desert, like
Too on the nose.
it just didn't make any sense. Like when Rocky did in Rocky 4, he went to Russia. He was making no money for that fight. He really had nowhere to work out. Yeah, well, he had motivation, but it's not like he had like a full blown gym to work out on. You know, like
It was
he
a
had
case of sharpening iron a lot quicker, a lot more hunger there.
yeah, correct. I mean, you know, he had a lot riding on that fight, so he used nature and like whatever he had, boulders and the mountains to run in.
He worked with what he had.
Exactly. And in Creed 2, it's like he purposely went to the desert to like with a bunch of dudes hanging out there with fire pits and
He wanted to be seen.
heat under what is it, tents. It just didn't make much sense to me, to be honest with you.
Went against the grain.
Yeah, like you didn't have to do that. And like after that, and it was, I mean, the fight scene at the end was good with Drago's son, but other than that, like I didn't really care for much of the movie. So for Creed 3, and that guy Jonathan Majors is in there. Oh, by the way, he got arrested
I heard
today.
my friend told me this week. I went to get something to eat at Burrito Boulevard earlier, which was fantastic. Shout outs to Burrito Boulevard in Mineola. So yeah, I heard that he was arrested for was it domestic dispute.
It was an assault. I don't know if it was domestic or not, but it was over the weekend. I literally saw it on the news today that he was arrested, so it might have been last night, which was March 25th. So I don't know what's gonna happen there.
Well, I hope everything works out. I wish him the best. He's a great actor. Loved him in what is the show from HBO? It is called Lovecraft Country. I thought he was fantastic in that. I also enjoyed him in Ant-Man 2. I'm sure there's some other stuff that I'm forgetting, but just a great actor overall.
Yeah, great actor. You know, probably one of the better ones in the craft. Probably just let's just chalk it up to a bad day, I guess, right?
Yeah, and we're not trying to play down anything, but we just wish him and his we just wish him the best with everything.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know much of anything about what happened, so we can't really play up or down to it. We can just give you what we know when we know it, and if there are updates, we'll give them to you next week or our next cast, whenever that'll be. Hopefully, we get on here once a week. But the last movie I wanted to talk about, it's not coming up in April; it's coming up in May. Guardians of the Galaxy, the last movie of the trilogy. Geez, like I can't wait to go see this movie. I heard a lot of rumors about this movie that certain people are gonna die and this, that, and the other. I just hope it's just a well-rounded movie and it's very entertaining for the 2 hours or however long it is. It's right around the corner in that beginning of May. I want to say May 5th is the date it's supposed to come out, which is just over 5 weeks away. So we'll see what happens.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah,
See.
yeah.
All right.
It could be a good day for them.
Prende.
Yeah, it could be a good day for them.
Yeah, I'm definitely hyped for that one as well. I mean, the first one could be, there's like a handful of movies that could be the best Marvel movie, and in my opinion, it's definitely up there. Just, James Gunn, he's got it. You see it, but you saw it with the Peacemaker show,
I wonder when that's coming back.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know. That's
No,
great.
it's supposed to.
Okay.
I just don't know when it is.
Great show. If you haven't seen it, check it out. We both enjoyed it. Yeah, so that's. I'm sorry. What else did you have?
That's pretty much it. Well, I guess we could kind of gear on to a new segment we came up with, which is our local food reviews.
Yes. I guess we'll start with a shout out to Ramon, the chef at Brew House. That's located on Hillside Avenue, close to Lakeville Road in New Hyde Park. He's been holding it down over there for a very long time. I had a steak quesadilla yesterday at a fantasy baseball draft, and it was excellent. So shout outs to Ramon.
Yes, much love to Ramon.
Keep doing what you're doing.
One of the better cooks that I've known.
Just a
Fantastic.
great human being.
Yes,
overall,
fantastic human being. He'll do and cook anything for you. He is a fantastic cook. It's one of those little hole in the wall, but not so much hole in the wall, local sports bars that you would only know from the neighborhood. But he is a fantastic cook. There's not one better in New Hyde Park, in my opinion, as far as bars go. When you could go grab a drink, maybe watch a Yankee game, Met game, whatever game you're gonna go watch. If you go over there, he's got some of the best food in the neighborhood.
Word.
One of the other restaurants I like to talk about is Salvatore's. It's in Elmont.
I heard you were on their social media.
I was for my birthday last year. My parents took me there.
Nice.
I wasn't a huge
birthday dinner.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of it until I went there. But let me tell you, you can't get a better meal for a bang for your buck. They
My
give
mom
you
would agree.
literally everything you could want for that dinner. Free wine, free different kind of flavored shots, garlic knots, pizza. The dinners are great portions. The atmosphere is nice. Some certain days they have people that are singing there. To me, there's not a better place in the neighborhood to go eat for a good price.
Excellent. Yeah, my mother. I've never been, but my mother told me about it, and she's, she said the same exact sentiments that you did. That they give you so much, just generous portions. Bread, garlic bread. What is it? Some kind of dessert type of.
Oh, it's their spin on their Zeppelis.
Zeppelis, yeah, it's like I guess like a cinnamon zeppeli or something like that.
It's like cinnamon brown sugar Zeppeli with some
Anyway,
kind of
it was
raspberry
fantastic.
drizzle on it.
I tried it. It was fantastic.
It's phenomenal when it comes out of the oven.
just
Phenomenal.
shout out to Salvatore's. Definitely gonna have to check that one out soon. And the place that I wanted to talk about. Let's see, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, Biscuits and Barbecue spot in Mineola. We had a couple. I guess we mentioned Mineola a few times today. Shout out to Mineola. Nice little place. Yeah, Biscuits and Barbecue. I went there a couple weeks ago. I've been going there for probably I don't know as long as it's been there. Great place. Louisiana, New Orleans, cooking. So yeah, me and my friend went there before. We saw Ant-Man, and I got the chicken fried steak, and the gravy on it was incredible.
Wow.
Just delicious. So yeah, everything there is great. Everything there is good. I definitely highly recommend it. And just a little disclaimer: it's bring your own beverage if you are feeling the urge to have a pop.
Right, so you can bring your own wine or beer, basically.
There you go.
Okay, gotcha.
That's in layman's terms.
Right. Well, we gotta make sure everyone knows what we're talking about, so I had to say it for everybody.
So it's good to keep the audience engaged.
Yeah, it's all right. We took care of it. We also have other places in the neighborhood that we could talk about. I'm a big fan of Tavern 18.
Oh, okay. What do you like over there?
Their half a chicken dish is fantastic. They have great steaks there.
Big Yardbird guy here, so I'm all in on that.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Everything is good there. The atmosphere, the food. Yeah, that's pretty much it. They're decently priced. They're right off Union Turnpike. I guess you call it Glen Oaks, I guess is the area.
Yeah.
Fantastic. If you're in the area, definitely check it out. Also right on that block is Luigi's. Luigi's is another Italian place that's fantastic. They have the biggest stuffed meatball I've ever seen in my life. It's like the size of a softball
How about that?
with regatta in the middle. Fantastic. Another good, nice little restaurant that you might not know about unless you live in the area.
Good local favorite.
Yeah, another good local favorite. There's a bunch of places we could talk about. Mama Teresa's, another one.
We're not gonna give you too much though. We're gonna
We're gonna save
have
it.
to come back.
Yeah, we're gonna save it for another episode. But those are just off the top of my head. Another nice Italian restaurant. But I think that's what we'll end the note on today is those couple restaurants that if you're in the area of I guess Mineola New Hyde Park, Glen Oaks, Belrose, even Queens Village, check those places out if you haven't already done so. And if you have, leave us some comments on them. If you have some other spots of your own that you want us to check out, we'll definitely go check them out ourselves. So leave that out on some of our social media. We have our YouTube channel up and running as of right now, Kings of Opinion. Check that out. And we'll have some other ones that'll come out soon on TikTok, I would say Instagram, and probably Twitter as well. With that all being said, that's it for us today on our show. We hope you enjoyed the show. And Ryan, you got anything else you want to add before we cut it down?
I'll be short. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for checking us out. We'll post the links, so please check those out as well. And have a great week and crush it.
Stay classy, New York, and the rest of the world. Have a good day.